Today, I'm presenting you the third chapter of our subject accountancy. The chapter name is Accounting Principles. So, we'll begin with theory base of accounting. Theory base of accounting consists of principal concepts, conventions, rules, and guidelines developed over a period of time to bring uniformity and consistency to the process of accounting in order to enhance its utility to various users of accounting information. Accounting used to be utilized by various users of accounting. So, for them, it's required to bring uniformity and consistency in the books of accounts, which can be provided by accounting principles, concepts, and conventions. In India, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India also constitutes the theory base of accounting. Meaning of accounting principles. Unlike in the past, when accounting statements were largely needed by proprietor, initially the accounting information was required by the owners only. These days, the accounting statements are needed by various parties, which we have studied earlier also, external users and internal users have vested interest in the business, namely proprietors, investors, creditors, government, and many others. These are the internal and external stakeholders who used to have financial interest in the business, and they are also interested in accounting information of the organization. Accounting statement disclose the profitability and solvency of the business to various parties. Accounting statements used to tell us about the profitability of the concern, about the solvency. Solvency means how much a firm is able to repay its debts. Accounting statement disclose the profitability and solvency of the business to various parties. It is therefore necessary that such a statement should be prepared according to some standard language and set rules. These rules are generally called as Generally Accepted Accounting Principles (GAAP). GAAP is an abbreviation, is generally accepted accounting principles. These rules are usually called GAAP. These principles have been generally accepted by accountants all over the world. These are the rules. These are the basic rules which have been accepted by all over the world, usually accepted by all over the world. These principles have developed over a course of period from usage, reason, common experiences, historical precedents, statement of individuals, professional bodies, and regulations of government agencies. Then we have the nature and characteristics of accounting principle. Accounting principles are uniform set of rules. These are uniform set of rules. Accounting principles are uniform set of rules and guidelines developed to ensure uniformity and understanding of accounting information. The main important aspect of accounting principles are these used to provide uniformity in our books of accounts. Accounting principles are man-made, yes. Accounting principles are man-made and are derived from experiences and reasons. These principles have been derived by the individuals according to their experiences. They are not laboratory tested, and hence they lack universal applicability. They used to lack a universal applicability means exceptions are there somewhere. It cannot be in some countries, maybe the rules and regulations, the business procedure are different. So, maybe possible in that particular country we cannot follow those rules which we are following in our country. In our country, hence they lack universal applicability like principles of physics, chemistry, and natural sciences. Third, accounting principles are flexible. These are flexible means these are not static, these can be changes according to the situation. Accounting principles are not rigid but flexible. They are bound to change with the passage of time. When the time changes, when the business environment gets changes, we need to change some accounting policies as well. They are bound to change with the passage of time in response to the changes in business practices, government policies, and needs of the users of accounting information. Then, fourth, accounting principles are generally accepted. Accounting principles are basis and guidelines for accounting and are generally accepted. The general acceptance of an accounting principle depends upon how well it satisfies the following three criteria. So, when we are talking about these principles are generally accepted, we should know that how they can be understood that these are generally accepted. For that, these principles should follow these three criteria. First is relevance, second is objectivity, and third is feasibility. A principle is relevant if the result in information is that useful to the users of accounting. Relevancy means this should be useful to the users of accounting, users of accounting information. Objectivity. A principle is objective if it is free from personal bias. Means your personal judgment should not affect your books of accounts. If the principles are applying this, the accounting informations are free from personal bias, means this is following the concept of objectivity. Then the third thing is feasibility. A principle is feasible if it can be applied without undue complexity or cost. Means it should not be a very costly process for a medium or for a small organization. If it is a very costly sort of a method, then it should not be treated feasible for those organizations to follow that. Then, what is the need of accounting principles? Why we are needing accounting principles? So, in order to make accounting information meaningful to its internal and external users, it is significant that such information is reliable as well as comparable. So, if we are thinking that the information of accounting which we are providing to internal and external users is very significant, then it should be reliable and comparable. Reliable, those things on which we can have a full trust, and then we can compare this data from any another organization. The comparability of information is required to see how a firm has performed as compared to the other firms or how it has performed as compared to the previous year. So कंपैरिजन की बात करें तो कंपैरिजन आपके दूसरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ भी हम कर सकते हैं, अपनी ही ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अलग अलग टाइम पीरियड के साथ भी हम कंपैरिजन कर सकते हैं. This is possible only if the information provided by the financial statement is based on some set of rules known as policies, principles and conventions. So, अगर हम बात करते हैं इस कंपैरिजन की, तो ये कंपैरिजन तभी पॉसिबल है जबकि हम सेम सेट ऑफ रूल्स, दो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के डेटा को अगर हम कंपेयर करना चाह रहे हैं तो दोनों ही ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने सेम सेट ऑफ रूल्स फॉलो किए होंगे, सेम मेथड्स फॉलो किए होंगे, तभी हम दोनों के अकाउंटिंग इंफॉर्मेशन को कंपेयर कर सकते हैं. देन when we have kinds of accounting principles are described by various terms such as assumption, conventions, concepts, doctrines, postulates, etc. These principles can be classified mainly into two categories. Majorly, these principles have been classified into two categories. First is accounting concept and second is accounting convention. Meanwhile, if I talk about concepts and convention, so first thing is accounting concept. So accounting concepts or assumption, very first, in order to make accounting language convey the same meaning to all people and to make it more meaningful, most of the accountants have agreed on a number of concepts which are usually followed for preparing the financial statement. These concepts provide a foundation of accounting process. No enterprise can prepare its financial statement without considering these basic concepts or assumptions. These concepts guide how transactions should be recorded and reported. Following may be treated as basic concepts or assumptions. So concepts basically क्या है? Concept कुछ rules हैं कुछ बेसिक रूल्स हैं जिनको कि फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट या आपके बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स को प्रिपेयर करते समय जो है उनको ध्यान रख के जो है वो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट आप प्रिपेयर करेंगे. As per Accounting Standard 1 issued by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, there are three fundamental accounting concepts. Three fundamental. First is going concern, second is consistency, and third is accrual concept. Fundamental accounting concepts and assumptions are the assumptions which are presumed to have been followed in preparing the financial statement. These are three basic concepts, and then we have seven more concepts which we'll be discussing. Fourth is business entity, then money measurement, then accounting period concept, cost and historical cost concept, dual aspect, revenue recognition, matching and objectivity concept. So the very first thing we are going to discuss is a going concern concept. What is a going concern concept? So going concern concept says it is assumed that the business will continue to exist for a longer period of time in future. That means on the basis of this principle, we are assuming that our business is being operated over a long period of time. The transactions are recorded in the books of business on the assumption that it is a continuing enterprise. It is on the concept that we record fixed assets at the original cost and depreciation is charged on these assets without reference to their market value. For example, if a machinery is purchased which would last say next 10 years, we are taking an example that if I'm purchasing a machinery and I'm thinking that its useful life is for 10 years. The cost of this machinery will be spread over to the next 10 years by calculating net profit or net loss. Means we are not showing all expense, all amount of purchasing that particular machinery in a single year as an expense. We'll divide that expense in next 10 years. We are assuming that our business will continue for next 10 years. So if I want to tell you the gist of this concept, so this concept says we are preparing our books of accounts assuming that our business will run for a longer duration of time. Second thing is consistency concept. Consistency concept says if you're following a particular method, you should keep on following that method only until a very important situation comes to change that. This concept states that the accounting principle and method should remain consistent from one year to another. These should not change from year to year. In order to enable management to compare profit and loss and balance sheet of the different periods and draw important conclusion about the working of enterprise. If a firm adopt different accounting principles in two accounting period, see, this is a very important line. If a firm adopt different accounting principles in two accounting periods, the profit of current period will not be comparable with the profit of preceding year. हम अगर दो अलग अलग साल के प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस को कैलकुलेट करने के लिए तो अलग अलग मेथड फॉलो करेंगे तो अलग अलग मेथड से यू कैन गेट डिफरेंट रिजल्ट्स. सो ऐसे में आप क्या कर सकते हैं, ऐसे में आपका डेटा जो है वो कंपैरेबल नहीं माना जाएगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अ फर्म कैन चूज एनी वन ऑफ सेवरल मेथड्स ऑफ डेप्रिशिएशन. यहाँ पर एक डेप्रिशिएशन का एक एग्जाम्पल दिया हुआ है. इफ यू हैव परचेज एन एसेट और उस पर आपको डेप्रिशिएशन लगाना है तो वी यूज टू हैव सेवरल मेथड्स ऑफ चार्जिंग डेप्रिशिएशन, जिसमें कि यहाँ पर दिया हुआ स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड, रिटन डाउन वैल्यू मेथड ऑल्सो नोन एज WDV, और एनी अदर मेथड. तो इफ यू आर फॉलोइंग पर्टिकुलर मेथड इन अ सिंगल ईयर, यू शुड फॉलो द सेम इन अ next subsequent years also. So what consistency concept is saying to us that if you're following to a particular method in a single year or in a particular year, you should follow the same in next subsequent years. Third is accrual concept. So in accounting, accrual basis is used for recording transaction. It provides more appropriate information about the performance of business enterprise as compared to cash basis. See, cash basis concept is where you used to record only cash transactions in the business. Accrual concept applies equally. Accrual concept applies equally to revenues and expenses. In accrual concept, revenue is recorded when sales are made or services are rendered, and it is immaterial whether cash is received or not. In accrual concept, revenue is recorded when sales are made. Revenue will be recorded when sales are made and services are rendered, and it is immaterial whether cash is received or not. Doesn't matter whether you have received cash or not. Similarly, according to this concept, expenses are recorded in accounting period in which they assist in earning revenues whether the cash is paid for them or not. Similarly, you have to record the expenses for a particular accounting period if we have taken a service in this current year and we have not paid the expenses, but yet we have to record those expenses in current year only, to get the proper result of the proper and correct result of current year. Thus, to ascertain true profit and loss for an accounting period and to show the true financial, thus to ascertain true profit and loss of accounting period and to show the true financial position of an enterprise at the end of the accounting period, all expenses and income related to accounting period are recorded whether actual cash has been paid or received or not. Means अगर आप करंट ईयर आपने किसी तरीके की कोई सर्विसेज ली है और अगर आपने उसका एक्सपेंस नहीं किया है अभी तक, फिर भी आपको वो एक्सपेंस करंट ईयर ही दिखाना पड़ेगा टू गेट द करेक्ट रिजल्ट फॉर अ करंट ईयर. Accrual concept is often described as a matching concept. Accrual concept क्या है? Matching concept भी हम इसको बोलते हैं. Next, बिजनेस एंटिटी कंसेप्ट. अभी तक हम लोगों ने 3 जो है वो बेसिक कंसेप्ट की बात करी थी. अब आपका आता है चौथा अकाउंटिंग कंसेप्ट. हियर कम्स योर फोर्थ accounting concept, and that is business entity concept. What is business entity concept? According to this concept, business is treated as a unit separate and distinct from its owners, creditors, managers and others. In other words, the owner of a business is always considered as distinct and separate from the business he owns. Means the business is different and the owner of the business is different in the books of accounts. If we are preparing the books of accounts, so we used to prepare books of accounts according to the business, not according to the businessman. Business unit should have completely separate set of books, and we have to record business transaction, and we have to record business transaction from firm point of view, not from the point of view of the proprietor, as I was stating earlier. The proprietor is treated as a creditor. Proprietor means the owner is treated as a creditor. Creditor, the one who lends some money to the organization. अब यहाँ पर अगर मैं और थोड़ा सा आसानी से समझाने की कोशिश करूँ तो यहाँ पर सिर्फ यही है कि जो ओनर है जिसने बिजनेस में इन्वेस्ट किया है, the one who has invested capital into the business is treated as a creditor of the business. Why? Because हमने अगर being an owner, being an proprietor business में कुछ इन्वेस्ट किया है तो ये बिजनेस की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. इट्स अ लाइबिलिटी ऑफ द बिजनेस कि कभी भी अगर बिजनेस वाइंड अप होता है तो वो पैसा प्रोप्राइटर को वापस जाए. और इसी वजह से जो कैपिटल है, जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस कंसेप्ट, द कैपिटल of the proprietor is treated as a liability, as an internal liability of the business. The proprietor is treated as a creditor of the business to the extent of capital invested by him in the business. The capital is treated as a liability of the firm because it is assumed that the firm has borrowed fund from its own proprietor instead of borrowing it from outside parties. Clear? Next, and a very easy term. In earlier topics, we had discussed this term also. Money measurement concept. When it comes to money measurement concept, the very easy thing. We used to record only those transactions in our books of accounts which can be measured in terms of money, which can be expressed in terms of money. Only those transactions and events are recorded in accounting which are capable of being expressed in terms of money. An event, even though it may be very important for the business, will not be recorded in the books of business unless its effect can be measured in terms of money with a fair degree of accuracy. For example, accounting does not record a quarrel between production manager and sales manager. This is very important. See, for example, accounting does not record a quarrel between प्रोडक्शन मैनेजर एंड सेल्स मैनेजर. प्रोडक्शन मैनेजर और सेल्स मैनेजर में अगर किसी तरीके की जो है वो कन्फ्लिक्ट हो गई, लड़ाई हो गई, तो उसका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन पर बहुत मेजर इम्पैक्ट पड़ने वाला है. उसकी वर्किंग पर बहुत मेजर इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा जो कि उसकी प्रॉफिट को भी डिक्रीज करेगा. बट दो इट कैन नॉट बी एक्सप्रेस्ड इन टर्म्स ऑफ मनी, इट विल नॉट बी रिकॉर्डेड इन द बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट, ऑल्दो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम फर्म्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. These facts or happening cannot be expressed in terms of money and thus these are not recorded in the books. Clear? Coming to the next concept, accounting period concept. Accounting period concept says as the business is intended to continue indefinitely for a long period, the true result of the business operations can ascertained only when the business is completely wound up. Accounting period says you can get the true result of a business when the business will completely wound up, but ascertainment of profit after very long period will be of little use of the proprietor, managers, investors and others, because it will be too late to take corrective steps at that time. The users of financial statement need to know the results of the business at frequent intervals. Thus, the entire life of the firm is divided into time intervals for the measurement of profit of the business. Usually 12-month period is adopted for this purpose. According to amended Income Tax Act law, business has compulsorily to adopt financial year beginning from 1st April to 31st of March. हमारे वहाँ जो है वो दो तरीके के ईयर हम लोग फॉलो करते हैं, फाइनेंशियल ईयर एंड कैलेंडर ईयर. फाइनेंशियल ईयर स्टार्ट फ्रॉम 1st April till 31st of March and calendar year start from January 1st to 31st of December. But in India, according to Income Tax Act, we used to follow first financial year started from 1st April to 31st of March. ओके, इस अकाउंटिंग पीरियड कंसेप्ट के अंदर क्या बताया गया है? व्हाट डज वी हैव बीन इन्फॉर्म्ड इन अकाउंटिंग पीरियड कंसेप्ट. इन अकाउंटिंग पीरियड कंसेप्ट वी हैव बीन टोल्ड that the business will run for a very long period of time. यूजुअली मान के चलते हैं कि बिजनेस एक लॉन्गर ड्यूरेशन के लिए रन करेगा, बट टाइम टू टाइम हमें अपने बिजनेस के प्रॉफिट को जानना है और प्रॉफिट को जानने के लिए हमें अपनी बुक्स क्लोज करनी होंगी. तो यूजुअली करते क्या है कि हर 12 मंथ के एंड पर हम अपनी बुक्स को क्लोज करते हैं to get to know that what amount of profit or what amount of loss we have suffered in a particular year. So ऐसे में एक पर्टिकुलर अकाउंटिंग पीरियड हम फॉलो करते हैं. इट कैन बी कैलेंडर, इट कैन बी फाइनेंशियल, बट एज आई टोल्ड यू इनकम टैक्स एक्ट कहता है कि वी यूज्ड टू फॉलो फाइनेंशियल ईयर ओनली. दैट मीन्स कि हर साल 31st of March को हमें अपनी बुक्स क्लोज करनी है और उस ड्यूरेशन का हमें प्रॉफिट निकालना है. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस, कंपनीज हु शेयर्स आर लिस्टेड ऑन स्टॉक एक्सचेंज आर रिक्वायर्ड टू पब्लिश क्वार्टरली. जो जॉइंट स्टॉक कंपनी होती हैं, दे यूज टू प्रोवाइड क्वार्टरली रिजल्ट. ठीक है, वो अपना क्वार्टरली रिजल्ट निकालती हैं हर 3 महीने. Then comes to our next concept, cost concept or historical cost concept. 7th, according to this concept, an asset is ordinarily recorded in the books of accounts at the price at which it was acquired. This cost becomes the basis of all subsequent accounting for the assets. Since the acquisition means purchase की बात कर रहे हैं. Since the acquisition cost relates to the past, it is referred to historical cost. This cost is the basis of valuation of assets in the financial statement. Let me tell you this with an example. If a business entity purchases a building for 20 lakh, what we have purchased a building for rupees 20 lakh, it would be recorded in the books at this figure. Subsequent increase or decrease in the market value of building would not be recorded in the books of accounts. अगर इस बिल्डिंग के प्राइस में किसी भी तरीके के चेंजेस सब्सिक्वेंट ईयर्स में होते हैं, ऊपर नीचे होते हैं, तो उसको यूजुअली हम बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स में रिकॉर्ड नहीं करते हैं. If 2 years later the market value of building shoots up to 60 lakh, the increased value will not be recorded ordinarily in the books of accounts. Fine. Next. Dual aspect concept, a very important concept this is. Now, what is a dual aspect concept? According to this concept, every business transaction is recorded as having dual aspect. In other words, every transaction affects at least two accounts. This is a very important line. Please mind this line. Every financial transaction, every business transaction will affect at least two accounts, will affect at least two parties. Somebody is receiver, somebody is giver, somebody is beneficiary, somebody is sacrificer. Something is going to be debited. अभी आप debit और credit भी पढ़ोगे. Something is going to be debited, something is going to be credited. If one account is debited and any other account must be credited. The system of recording transaction based on this principle is called double entry system. हमारा जो accounting है वो इसी dual aspect concept को follow करता है. This is known as a double entry system. So what does dual aspect concept says? Dual aspect concept says that every transaction, every business transaction, every financial transaction will affect at least two types of account, at least two accounts. Somebody is going to be debited and something is going to be credited. Please mind this equation also. In the upcoming chapters, you will be having this: assets is equals to liabilities plus capital. Then next concept is revenue recognition concept. Now, what is the revenue recognition concept? Revenue means the amount which is added to the capital as a result of business operation. Revenue is earned by sale of goods or by providing a service. Revenue recognition concept. Revenue recognition concept. Revenue means the amount which is added to the capital as a result of business operation. Revenue is whatever you have earned during the year. Revenue is earned by the sale of goods or by providing services. Concept of revenue recognition determines the time of a particular period in which the revenue is realized. At what time we have realized that revenue? हमने वो पैसा कब अर्न किया? So revenue is deemed to be realized when the title or ownership of the goods have been transferred. Revenue realized तभी मानी जाती है जबकि हमने goods के title, goods के ownership को transfer किया है to the purchaser and when it has legally become liable to pay the amount. So it doesn't matter कि हमें पैसा मिला है या अभी नहीं मिला है. अगर हमने गुड्स ट्रांसफ़र कर दिया है, ओनरशिप ट्रांसफ़र कर दी है और परचेजर लाइबल हो गया है पेमेंट करने के लिए, तो हम अपनी रेवेन्यू को रिकॉग्नाइज्ड मान लेंगे. दैट मीन्स हम मान लेंगे कि वो पैसा हमें मिल जाएगा. It should be remembered that revenue recognition is not related to the receipt of cash. That's what I was telling you. It is not important कि you have received cash or not. You must have received cash or you can receive cash in future. But if the title, if the ownership of the goods have been transferred, you can realize that the revenue you have you used to realize. Okay. Then more important concept, and that is matching concept. Very similar to accrual concept this is. This concept is very important for correct determination of net profit. According to this concept, in determining the net profit from business operation, all costs which are applicable to revenue for the period should be charged against the revenue. तो इस साल से रिलेटेड जितने एक्सपेंसेस हैं, इस साल की रेवेन्यू से रिलेटेड जितने भी एक्सपेंसेस हैं, चाहे उन एक्सपेंसेस को हमने अभी तक पे किया हो, whether we have paid those expenses, whether we do not have paid those expenses, we will record those expenses in current particular year only. Accordingly, for matching concept with revenue, first revenue should be recognized and then cost incurred for generating that revenue should be recognized. Following points must be considered while matching concepts with revenue. When an item of revenue is included in the profit and loss account, अगर हमने revenue को profit and loss की income side में दिखा दिया है, ऑल एक्सपेंसेस इनकर्ड ऑन इट, इस पर हुए सारे एक्सपेंसेस, चाहे हमने उनका पेमेंट किया हो और चाहे नहीं किया हो, हम इसको अपने प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस के डेबिट साइड में एज एन एक्सपेंस रिकॉर्ड करेंगे टू गेट द करेक्ट प्रॉफिट फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर ईयर. When some expenses, say insurance premium, is paid partly for the next year also, the part relating to next year will be shown as an expense only next year, not in this year. So might generally it used to happen that we used to pay insurance premium for 12 months. Now let's have an example that we are following our financial year, that means from 1st April to 31st of March, and on 1st of July we have paid annual insurance premium. So 1st of July we have paid annual insurance premium. 1st of July to 30th June. Fine. Our books will close on 31st of March. So from 31st of March till 31st of June, we have paid the expenses related to next year in current year only. That will be our prepaid expense and that will be recorded in next year, not in current year. Cost of goods remaining unsold at the end of the year together with the expense incurred on it must be carried forward to the next year. So अगर कोई भी गुड्स हमारे पास अनसोल्ड बच जाता है, उस पर हुई जितनी भी कॉस्ट है उसको हम अगले साल कैरी फॉरवर्ड करेंगे along with that particular goods. As such, the closing stock is carried over to the next period as opening stock. The goods remain unsold at the end of the current year is known as closing stock, and that used to be transferred to the next year as an opening stock. Similarly, incomes receivable must be added to revenue and incomes received in advance must be deducted from revenue. So, if you have received some income, it will be added to revenue. If you have received some income in advance, it will be deducted from revenue. The next thing is objectivity concept. If you have remembered, we have discussed this point earlier also. Objectivity, something which is free from bias, free from personal interference. This concept requires that accounting transactions should be recorded in an objective manner, free from personal bias. That means all the transactions should be recorded free from personal bias. Means personal judgment is not required to be done. So either management or accountant who prepares the accounts. It is possible only when each transaction is supported by verifiable documents and vouchers such as cash, memos, invoices, sales bills, paying slip, correspondent agreement. For example, when the goods are purchased for cash, the transaction must be supported by cash receipt. Objectivity concept says that if you have recorded some transaction, this should be verified by some vouchers, by some receipts. So gist of this concept says that whatever you have recorded in the books of account should be free from personal bias, and should be verified by some verifiable documents such as vouchers or receipt, cash receipts, invoices, etc. The next thing comes accounting conventions. Earlier we were discussing concepts and now comes accounting conventions. And accounting conventions may be defined as a custom or generally accepted accepted practice which is adopted either by general agreement or common consent among accountants. Now, accounting concepts in following manner. Legal position. Accounting concepts have a legal acceptance. Concept Accounting concepts used to be followed by us legally, whereas accounting conventions are guidelines based upon custom or usage or general agreement. Second, recording versus financial statement. Accounting concepts are the basic assumptions on the basis of which transactions are recorded and accounts are maintained. These are the basic guidelines we used to follow while preparing the accounting. Accounting conventions are followed in preparing the profit and loss and balance sheet, whereas accounting conventions used to be followed while preparing profit and loss and balance sheet only. Significance: these are uniform set of rules usually followed in recording the transaction. These are rules to be followed while preparing the books of accounts. Whereas conventions, these are not so important as accounting concepts. These are not that much important. The importance is not, conventions is not as important as accounting concepts are. Fourth is role of personal. There is no role of personal judgment, personal bias. Here, bias is not there. So there is no role of personal judgment or individual bias in following the accounting concept. Accounting concept is free from personal bias, whereas personal judgment may play a crucial role in the adoption of accounting convention. Accounting conventions are having certain personal bias things. Then uniform adoption. There is uniform adoption of accounting concepts in different enterprises. Concepts are being used by different enterprises, whereas accounting conventions, there is no uniformity in the adoption of accounting conventions in various enterprises. Next. Following are the main accounting conventions. We have three accounting conventions: for disclosure, materiality, and conventions of conservatism. So, first thing is Convention of Full Disclosure. This convention requires that all significant information related to economic affairs of the enterprise should be completely disclosed. What does for disclosure says? For disclosure says that the information which is related to an organization and which is important to an organization should be disclosed properly. In other words, there should be sufficient disclosure of information which is material interest to the users of financial statements such as proprietor, present and potential creditors, investors and others. The principle is so important that the Companies Act makes ample provision for the disclosure of essential information in the financial statement of a company. The proforma and contents of balance sheet and profit and loss account are prescribed by Companies Act. Various item or fact which do not find place in accounting statement are shown in balance sheet by way of footnotes, such as if something which we could not record in our financial statement or in balance sheet, we used to record those things in the footnote, like contingent liability we are having. Full disclosure says you have to record all the things which are significant, which are important to your organization in the books of accounts. For instance, a claim of very big sum pending in a court of law against the enterprise should be brought to the notice of the users of financial statement, otherwise statement would be misleading. एक पॉइंट बोला गया है कि मान लेते हैं कि हमारे ऊपर किसी तरीके का कोई केस चल रहा था ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के ऊपर, क्लेम के लिए कोई केस चल रहा था, so if we will win that court case, we do not have to face any claim to anybody. But if we are going to lose that case, that sort of a liability will be having. So that should be recorded in the books of accounts in the footnote. If there is a change in the method of valuation of stock for providing depreciation, means is there any, if there is any change in the method of calculating anything, if you are changing any method for the calculation, you should record in the balance sheet. Market value of investment should be given in the way of footnote. Market value, why? Because we used to record all the assets according to historical cost concept, which says we used to record all the assets according to their cost price. Then disclosing of material fact does not mean leaking out secret of the business. Now, material facts means important information does not mean you should disclose the secrecy of the business. Fine. Next thing is convention of materiality, something which is just reverse from your full disclosure. This convention is an exception of the convention of full disclosure. Now, full disclosure says you have to record all the significant things, whereas materiality says uh, items having insignificant effect or being irrelevant to the users need not to be disclosed. So the things which are not very important, which are not very relevant, should not be disclosed. These unimportant items are either left out or merged with other items. Otherwise, accounting statement will be unnecessary overburden. अब एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं, लाइक एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर वी यूज्ड टू हैव सेवरल पेपर्स, वी यूज्ड टू हैव सेवरल पेन्स, वी यूज्ड टू हैव सेवरल ink or stationery items. So we are not going to record all the things separately, that this much of papers we are having, this much of pens we are having, this much of eraser we are having. We used to record all the things combined in stationery. Next is convention of conservatism or prudence, a very important thing. Please keep this in mind. This is a very important chapter, let me tell you. Whenever you are going to start the subject accountancy at any level, whether it is chartered accountancy, whether it is company secretary, whether it is uh, CMA, cost and management accountant, or anything else, graduation, post graduation, MBA, anywhere you are going to study this chapter, you will be having this anywhere you are going to study this subject, I'm sorry, you will be having this chapter. This is the basic of the subject. Okay, this is a very important chapter, and one of a very important convention as well, which we'll be following in accounting in subsequent chapters. Convention of conservatism and prudence. According to this convention, all anticipated losses should be recorded in the books of account. If we are thinking that we can suffer some loss in next upcoming years, we will record those expenses, we will record those losses, if we are thinking that that loss could be possible to us. But all anticipated unrealized gains or all anticipated profits, here profit is not there, all unanticipated, all anticipated profits or unrealized gains should be ignored. अब यहाँ पर बहुत सेफ खेलने की बात कही गई है, सीधा सीधा बोला गया, वी हैव बीन टोल्ड दैट अगर किसी तरीके का लॉस होने की कोई पॉसिबिलिटी है तो वो लॉस तो आप अपने बुक्स में रिकॉर्ड करिए, बट प्रॉफिट को आप तब तक नहीं रिकॉर्ड करेंगे जब तक कि वो प्रॉफिट आपको हो ना जाए. In other words, conservatism is the policy of playing safe. Provision is made for all known liabilities and losses, even though the amount cannot be determined with certainty. Likewise, when there are different alternatives for recording a transaction, the one having least favorable immediate effect on profit or capital should be adopted. Following are the examples of the applications of principle of conservatism. Closing stock is valued at the cost or realizable price. Realizable means market value, whichever is less. So for stock, it has been a very important line that the stock will be recorded on cost or market value, whichever is less. Provision for doubtful debts. If you are thinking that there are certain debtors which will not pay to us in the upcoming future. We used to create some provisions against them. Joint life insurance policy is shown only at surrender value. सरेंडर वैल्यू अगर हम उस पॉलिसी को अभी जो है मैच्योरिटी से पहले ही निकलवा लेते हैं तो हमें कुछ पैसा मिलता है, दैट इज़ नोन एज सरेंडर वैल्यू. एंड प्रोविजन फॉर पेंडिंग लॉ सूट्स अगेंस्ट अ फर्म विच मे ईदर बी डिसाइडेड इन इट्स फेवर. नाउ इफेक्ट ऑफ अ कन्वेंशन ऑफ कंजर्वेटिज्म. अब इस कन्वेंशंस को अगर हम फॉलो करते हैं तो उसका क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन पे. The convention of conservatism should be used very cautiously, otherwise it will have two effects. Profit and loss account will disclose lower profits in comparison to the actual profit. If we are following conservatism, so this sort of a things will happen. Profit and loss account will disclose lower profit, and balance sheet will disclose understatement of assets and overstatement of liabilities in comparison to actual values. That's it for the topic. Thank you very much. And now, if you're having any query, class, if you're having any sort of problems, please do ask me in the class group. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much. If you like the video, please do subscribe us, and if you have any query, please do contact us. Thank you very much.